We're back live once again here on the Get Foxy show. This time with the lovely Lora Cheadle. And Lora, thank you so much for taking the time to be with us today. I sure appreciate it.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. I can't wait to chat with you.
You are on the show because you've written a book called FLAUNT. And this book really kind of meshes with the message that we've got here at the Get Foxy show in a way. Why don't you tell me a little bit about what inspired you to write this book?
Absolutely. What inspired me is a lot of my own experience. I was a corporate attorney for 10 years, and I got really tired of being judged and stereotyped. And, listeners out there might be like, how do you get judged and stereotyped as an attorney? Well, I am a really happy, bouncy, positive person. And oftentimes people would say, well, you can't be an attorney because you're fit, because you're in shape, because you're young, because you're female, because you're cute, because you're bouncy, whatever it is. And I got so tired of people telling me who I could and could not be. And I thought, you know what? I am smart, and I am sexy, and I am spiritual, and I am a good mom. And why do we have such a limited view of what women can and cannot be? And why do we judge, especially women, but everybody, so harshly based on outdated standards that absolutely make no sense? I just wanted to be who I was without fear of judgment, without fear of shame, without being stereotyped and labeled. And that was really the impetus for writing this book and for my whole Free to Flaunt movement, which you're right, it is so much like Get Foxy, and that's why I love it.
Now, what I just heard you say is you said, I'm smart, I'm bouncy, I'm sexy, I'm a good mom. There are a lot of women out there that have thoughts in their head. I call it the mean girl in your head that says just the opposite. Well, I'm not good enough. I'm not smart enough. I'm not sexy. I'm not attractive. I'm not charismatic. I'm not whatever. How have you come across, what am I trying to say here is,
I know what you're asking.
you defeated that mean girl in your head, it seems. How did you manage to do that?
That is such an amazing question, because here's my philosophy and my take on it. And the short answer is, how did I do that? I did that by finding what I call my naked self-worth through the 5 steps of FLAUNT. And here's how it goes. We grow up. We're little kids, we're having fun. We are totally unself-conscious. We swing and we run and we jump and we play and we laugh and we do all of these things. And we have these well-meaning people in our life saying, tone it down, get all A's, don't do that. What will he think if you wear that? You don't want to give people the wrong idea. And that mean girl voice is kind of put into us by our society, by our parents, our teachers, our friends. And I do think people have our best interest at heart. They want us to be safe. They want us to be protected. The skirt you wear isn't going to look like that, right? Oh, you don't look that good in that, right? Oh, you don't want to make him feel bad by saying this. Oh, don't brag, don't. And we start covering ourselves. We start layering on everybody else's voice. And we are all beautiful and we are all confident. And it doesn't matter if we're 22 or 87. It doesn't matter if we're a size 2 or a size 22. Our souls are beautiful. Our minds are beautiful. Our essence is fantastic. It's just that we've bought into that judgment. We've bought into not being enough. We've bought into that storyline. And then because we want to be socially acceptable, that's where that mean girl voice starts coming in. And it starts telling us the reason is, and it's always us. And flaunt and finding your naked self-worth. Your naked self-worth, just to let listeners know what that is, it's the ability to value yourself for who you are, not for what you do. It's your ability to tune into your essence, your spirit, your mind, and be like, yes, I am good enough exactly as I am. Can I learn and get better at something? Of course. Can I make mistakes? Of course. And that's all okay because we're all human. And it's that acceptance fully of who we are and where we are at, and for ourselves along this journey. And that knowingness that it's all okay. And when we develop that naked self-worth, when we have compassion and love and that judgment-free acceptance of who we are, as well as who everybody else is, then it's so easy to flaunt and to know, wow, I am brilliant. I am this amazing light. Anybody would be happy to have me as a friend, and I would be happy to have them as a friend. And I believe it's our more natural state of being.
I would agree with you 100% there. That state, what I would call divine femininity or divine masculinity, uh, creates that form of authenticity when we're able to just own that we are what I would call divine children of God. You know?
Yes, yes,
When we're able to accept that and say, yes, man, I mean, that makes life so much easier.
yes. I talk a lot about living your sparkle. And I define sparkle as that brilliant essence inside your soul, that divine piece of God. Because, like you said, we are all divine children. It doesn't really matter what your religious beliefs are. You can be a divine child of the great oak tree. You can be anything, but we are all divine. There's something that makes us alive. We don't need to know what it is, but oh my gosh, it's that sparkle. And when we can live from that place of sparkle every day, everything is okay. And it's not about, just being perfect and glossing over. It's about being in our messiness and being in our confusion and being hurt, but still knowing that we're worthy of love. We're worthy of healing. We're worthy of connection because we all have that sparkle inside. And that's why I use the concept of burlesque, because burlesque is taking off the layers. It's shedding those layers of judgment. It's shedding the layers of I have to be perfect. I have to be size 2. I have to not have wrinkles. I have to not have gray hair. I have to have a perfect relationship. I have to have perfect kids. I have to have the perfect job. And I have to know everything and do it all the time. It's shedding those layers to just show up and sparkle as you are in every single moment. And when we're really connected into that, it's not that we can't be hurt, but we can't go wrong because we are who we were meant to be.
Now, that's interesting to me in that I would think there would be a fairly negative connotation around burlesque. So how are you incorporating that without creating that negative connotation?
Yes, exactly. If you think about, there's a Michelangelo quote. I need to know who said it, but I forgot who said it. Somebody asked him about, how do you know when this masterpiece is done? Or how do you find this gorgeous thing inside of a chunk of a marble? And he said, basically, when I've taken away enough layers that it's perfect. And that's what burlesque is all about. Sometimes people think it's stripping. It's not stripping. And even if it were, there's nothing wrong with stripping. But burlesque is a comedy. Burlesque comes from the root word that means burla, which means mockery or parody. And it makes fun of the fact that all day, every day, we put on masks and layers. We put on, our power woman suit. We put on the power heels. We put on our mom jeans. We put on our date night outfit. We put on personas every day. We wear different personas with our spouse, as we do with our kids, as we do with the kindergarten teacher, as we do with the board of directors, as we do with our boss, as we do with our employees. And there's nothing wrong with personas. It's entirely appropriate to be appropriate. Nobody goes and drops the F-bomb in the kindergarten classroom because it's them. It's good to be appropriate. It's fine to be appropriate, but be aware that it's a persona. I am putting on the persona of being a little bit sweeter and a little bit more toned down and more appropriate when I'm with kindergartners. I just am. Same thing when I'm in a corporate environment. I'm absolutely not going to go into a courtroom and start mouthing off to a judge. I have deference, I have respect, but I'm aware that it's the persona that I am putting on. And sometimes we get too caught up in our personas and we think that that is us, and it's not. And that's what burlesque is about. It's shedding those layers and getting very clear about who we are underneath. Because if I am too wrapped up in my identity as a lawyer, which I think happened, I had a huge life crisis in a way when I quit being a lawyer, because I was too caught up in my persona and I thought that was me. I thought that the respect that I commanded was because I was a lawyer. I got used to going to a cocktail party and saying, I'm Lora, I'm an attorney, and having people be a little bit impressed, have a little bit of respect. And it was quite different when suddenly I was a stay-at-home mom and I would go to the same cocktail party and I would say, I'm Lora, I'm a mom and a housewife. And I would feel, psh. That was my internal projection. It was me getting too tied into my corporate identity and too tied into my lack of a corporate identity. I was the same inside. I have the same essence. I am worthy of love and respect no matter what. And that's why burlesque is important. Strip down. Strip out of that identity. Get really clear on who you are and what your worth is, because you are you. Then put on the different layers. Put on those different identities and you will do a better job anyway. Oftentimes I liken it to diversity. We all want diversity, being inclusiveness, diversity, all of this stuff. Perfect. We need that. But in effect, what we're doing is we're telling people they have to be 50-year-old white men. Okay, we're diverse. Look at this diversity, but everybody is acting the same. Everybody is acting like a 50-year-old white man. That's not diverse. Diversity is getting in touch with your essence, who you are inside, and bringing that essence into your role, bringing that essence into your relationships with other people so everybody can grow and change. And when people understand that's what burlesque is about, it's stripping off those layers, getting clear and bringing your true self forward for the greater good, for everybody's benefit. Then they all go, oh, I want that.
So getting clear on your authentic essence, what I'm hearing you say is, okay, we've got to strip down in order to do that. Does that mean we actually have to join a burlesque troupe, or what's the process of doing it?
That's great. No, we absolutely don't. It has nothing to do with getting physically naked. Unless you want to dance burlesque because that's in your heart, that's fine. But it's the emotional stripping down. It's the mental stripping down. And it's not like in the military, we're going to break you down and build you up. It's nothing harsh. It's about being very strong and setting down those layers. There was this commercial in the 70s, the Angeli perfume. I can bring home the bacon, fry it up in a pan, and never let you forget you're a man. So many women strive to live up to that. And it's not what they want. And the mental burlesque, the emotional burlesque is about stripping out of those layers. Maybe I want to bring home the bacon. Maybe I don't. Maybe I want to be a wife and mom. And if I want to do that, I need to get clear that it doesn't make me less than. It doesn't make me lazy. If my calling, if my mission is to stay home and be a wife and mom, I need to do that. Or if my mission is to be CEO and run a company, that's my mission and I can do that. If I want a relationship, I get it. And if I don't, I don't. It's stripping out of what society tells us. You grow up, you go to college, you get a job, you get a dog, you get a house, you get 2 kids, you get a minivan. It's stripping out of expectations and beliefs and being brave and real enough to say, this is what I want. And it doesn't matter if I'm supposed to want it or not. This is what I want.
Actionably, how does one begin that process? Or do you recommend someone start journaling? Do they get counseling? How do you, Lora, recommend that someone start this stripping down process?
Yes. The FLAUNT is actually an acronym. And what I recommend is they practice the 5 steps of FLAUNT every day. And it's something obviously they can do on their own. They can read my book and get a little more help. They can reach out to me and we can work one-on-one and go further faster. But bottom line is, if you follow the 5 steps of FLAUNT and start practicing those every day, you slowly feel the layers stripping away. And the 5 steps of FLAUNT, F stands for find your fetish. And what that means is start tuning into what you want to do. I danced as a little girl and I love dance. And that is my fetish. And I let that go as an adult because who has the time or the money to be a lawyer and take care of dinner and have kids and then go to dance class? We have to tune back into what we want, to what makes our soul sing every day. And it's not like you have to find your fetish and, go to Disneyland for 4 hours every day. You can find your fetish and enjoy things in 10, 15-minute blocks. But the point is, do something that lights you up every day. The second step of FLAUNT is L, laugh out loud. Laughter is completely underrated. There are so many studies on the healing benefits of laughter. It's a physical activity. It actually tones our belly. It makes us feel good. It releases all sorts of hormones and endorphins that actually make us feel better. It's scientifically proven. But it's also just more fun to live from a place of laughter, to look at horrible things and to be able to laugh at them, not in a sense of like, oh, somebody's dying, ha, 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 it's okay, but to find the humor in the moment. There's so much grief in the world right now. There's so much heaviness. There is a lot of death. There's a lot of financial destruction, but there's also a lot of levity. And to give yourself permission to be able to laugh at those things that happen. You're not laughing at grief. You're allowing yourself to release and to not hold that tension. Which goes right into the next step, which is AU, accept unconditionally. And that's the golden center of FLAUNT. And it's so hard, but it's so important to accept not only ourselves, but everybody in our world unconditionally. Think of all the mental energy that we spend trying to change other people. If I do this, he will do that. If I say this, she will say that. If I show up this way, they will show up this way. Oh my gosh, we can't control anybody else. We need to accept everybody for who they are. The people that disappoint us constantly, spoiler alert, they will continue to disappoint us constantly. It doesn't matter what we wear, what we say, what we serve, how we help. They are in charge of themselves. We are in charge of ourselves. And the effort that we spend trying to control them is wasted effort. We need to accept unconditionally the path that everybody else is on, bless, release, and take care of ourselves. And accept unconditionally where we are at too. If we're in a bad relationship, if we have an addiction, we have to accept that. We cannot lie to ourselves or we will never get better. And I don't know about you, but sometimes that's hard. Sometimes I like to say, I posted this on my Facebook. During this whole quarantine, I've been like, oh yeah, I'm working out. I'm doing great. I'm eating fine. Nothing is changing. I don't know why I'm gaining weight because I'm doing it all right. And then a couple days ago, I posted this. Oh, I'm not doing it right. I am totally lying to myself. And as long as I'm lying to myself, I'm not eating right. I'm drinking wine. I'm having fun. And I'm working out, but I'm working out at a level maybe 3, 4 instead of a 7, 8. Until we accept unconditionally where we're really at, nothing is going to change because we're just going to perpetuate that lie that it's all good. The next step is N, navigate the negative. I'm a big believer that there's not a lot of inherently positive or negative things in life. It's our perception of those things. A divorce, is it catastrophic or is it the biggest blessing ever? It's both. A huge weight problem, is that horrible and catastrophic or is it a blessing? It's both. A job loss, what is it? It's both. Everything is both. And yes, feel the emotions, go deep, cry, and then let's turn that around and let's navigate and see how we can make our trauma, our pain into something better. Maybe not only for us, but for everybody around us. And that leads to that last letter of FLAUNT, the T, which is trust in your truth. You are the only one who knows how it feels inside of you. You are the only one who knows how it feels when you're laying in bed at night going, I don't know, and I'm confused, and this doesn't feel good. You know what feels right inside of you. Nobody else does. And that's what those 5 steps of FLAUNT are designed to do. They're designed to help you get in touch with who you are, how you feel, what you want, where is your joy, what is the next most logical step, and to trust yourself above everybody else. And again, it's not to say ignore experts. Research, figure some things out, but what sits right with you? You're the only one that can determine that, because so much of the juicy stuff in life is emotional. Like, I can't look at you and say, yes, you are in love with your wife or your kids. You're the only one that can experience that. You've got to trust in your own emotions. And when we do those 5 steps every day and we practice them consistently, suddenly we're aware of our worth. And that mean girl in your head, she's not there as much, because you're laughing and you're doing fun things and you're navigating and you're seeing things as puzzles and you're trusting in who you are. And that's why I am able to say, I am brilliant and I'm beautiful and I'm happy and I'm a good mom. And I just am. And if you don't think so, that's totally okay by me, because I'm really in a good place with who I am and what I'm doing. And when I'm not, I know how to get myself through it. And when I'm not and I make a mistake, I know how to offer myself love and forgiveness so I can come back to this place of equanimity and balance within my own heart, within my own
Oh my goodness, that is such big stuff, Laura.
head.
Such good stuff. Well, I'm curious to know what your definition of Foxy is. Since this is the Get Foxy show, I ask all my guests, what is your definition of Foxy? What does it mean to you, Laura?
I love that you asked that. My definition of getting foxy is, I see foxes as like slipping and sliding and moving things. And my definition of getting foxy is moving ahead. It's kind of being a little bit spry and a little bit funny with things and being like, ooh, I'm going to dart through these bushes and I'm going to get this over here and I'm going to dart over here and I'm going to get this. And it's just being self-directed and focused on what I need for me, and having that little mental component that this is fun and I am that sly fox and I'm going to get what I deserve.
Has there ever been a time where you haven't felt that foxiness, and what did you do to reclaim it?
Oh, heck yes. More often than I care to admit, life always takes us down. Couple of different things depending on the circumstances. First, I think it's very important to move into some of those sad feelings or those worthless feelings or those mean girl feelings. I go into them and I ask myself a couple of different things. Is this true? Is this true? And if it's true, is there something that I can do to flaunt, to navigate around that, to get better, to use this time to grow? And then I stand up, I brush off the dust, I bless and release the situation. I bless and release myself. I accept unconditionally that I was in a funk, and I start flaunting, using those 5 steps more consistently, finding my fetish, laughing out loud, accepting my funk, finding something fun, navigating it, and then trusting that I am the brilliant essence that I know myself to be.
Who in your world would you say manifests that foxiness or represents that foxiness?
Fortunately, I've got a lot of people in my world that represent that foxiness, and I'm absolutely thrilled because of that. I really do think my mom and my grandma, and even my great grandma, I come from a very matriarchal family. I think I've got a long line of foxy women in my family because they were all very much able to navigate the situations that they were in. Whether it was, my great grandma growing up or being a young woman and a young wife in the Depression, my grandma during World War II, my mom during Vietnam, all of the women were very much able to get foxy, to manage the heavy external components, but to really let their life shine, to raise their children, to find that joy, and to be a little bit or a lot of it outside of the box, outside of what was expected of them, and to do what they needed to do.
That's excellent. I love it. I love it. How can people find out more about your book? And if they'd like to work with you, how can they find you?
Oh, yay. My book is available anywhere books are sold. I'll show it to you. Isn't that pretty?
That's gorgeous.
Anywhere books are sold, Amazon, Barnes & Noble, IndieBound. If you're in Colorado, Tattered Cover. You can also buy it off of my website. You can find more about me, about my website. You can download your own Bundle of Joy gift pack. Oh my gosh, talk about getting foxy. The Bundle of Joy gift pack has an intro to lap dance tutorial. So, you can learn an intro to lap dance tutorial, a hypnosis MP3, and increasing your intuition download, LoraCheadle.com. And I spell my name Lora, as in Colorado, which you only get if you're in Colorado, but I know you are. LoraCheadle.com, Lora. You can also find me across all social media. I'm most active on Facebook in my Flaunt Flock group for women like that who are into flaunting and getting foxy and just having really good conversation with other people.
Excellent. Well, if you can believe it, Lora, our time has just flown by. I so appreciate you taking the time today, and you are doing amazing things. And I wish you the best. And I look forward to sharing your book with some of my friends.
Thank you so much. I love the work that you do. I love your message, and thank you so much for having me.